Alright guys, we are back with game number 2 between FLuX and Printf. Yeah, Trap, I mean a lot of people have been having problems with the streams on Twitch lately. Just infrastructure issue, I'd imagine. In the top left part of the map on Merry-Go-Round, we have our pink Zerg. It is none other than Frenetic's FLuX. Interesting logo that they have there. And in the top right of the map, we have his opponent. It is from Team Quasar, as our green Protoss, Printf. So basically in the previous map, that was the kind of the best situation possible for Printf with the map pool that we have here. He was able to scout his opponent immediately because he knows his spawning location being cross-spawn on a way station. It's a relatively quick rush distance, so he's able to get the probes there pretty quickly. Now the tricky thing is on this map, you can scout wrong and it can delay everything with what he typically likes to go for with these cannon rushes. Now we're going to see here though that Printf is actually going to scout the right location off first correctly this time. It's kind of a coin flip as to whether you get that or not. Thing is, I think on this map you actually have just enough time to start the cannon rush on time anyway, and given the geometry here, we'll probably see him go with something similar to what he did last time. Though the plates being in this location actually makes this area probably a little bit less desirable for a cannon rush. So let's see what he's going to go for. We actually have double cancel. Okay, that was just extractor trick into spawning pool. This is actually an interesting time for that. Usually don't see players do it a little later on like that. Oh, this is a 10 pool or a 9 pool. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how I didn't notice that. In any case, a lot of links coming out here. I don't know if the probes picked up on that yet. I think Printf is actually just blindly going for the cannon rush here, and the lings are actually going to be so fast that this will probably shut this down immediately, as the lings are already nearly done. The probe's going to dive in for this right now. He's thrown down the pylon, and then he's going to see, oh, the spawning pool's done, which means those 3 eggs are the last thing he's going to want to see. And there they go, going immediately for probe number 1, and he's actually already building up off to the side. And yeah, he's going to go for the gateway in order to try and slow things down. FLuX immediately goes for the pylon. Photon cannon is going to go down and will not finish before the pylon falls. And let's see if he goes for the probe immediately. He does, takes that out. Second pylon going up. Let's see if the DPS of the Zerglings is actually enough to cancel this. Yep. Cannon rush has been halted. Back home we can see a gateway and a cannon going up to try and protect the front. And this will at least keep Printf alive for the short term. FLuX's response is to deal, now that that's done, is to throw down another hatchery. Probe runs up and dies immediately, and he says, and that's what I get for not scouting, sad face. There's your lesson, folks. Doesn't matter who you are, if you don't scout, sometimes it does bite you on the ass. Little smiley face from FLuX. And he's going to run forward to check and see what's going on at the front up here. Cannon's going to finish in time, though, for this. And once he sees that at the top of the ramp, we're going to most likely see him back off completely, as it's not really going to be worth it from there unless he tries to go up into Banelings and builds a lot more roaches. I mean, a lot more Banelings and builds a lot more Zerglings. He's too far away from that to be able to do it. So I think pretty much the only thing that Printf can do here is he's got to do some kind of attack strategy in order to do damage to FLuX's economy, because FLuX has chosen the economy as kind of his triangle of potential advantages to take over his opponent. He's grabbing this extra base, and you can see he's even grabbing a third down here as well. He wants to overwhelm Printf with numbers in terms of later in the game. So what Printf can do from here is he can try and jump up into Stargate, he can try and jump up into a fast 4 gate, and he can try and get across the map as fast as he can to either A, kill him completely, or B, just kill a lot of workers and slow him down as much as possible. You can see he's going for a Robo. So it's not for any Stargate strategies here. But if he can't, one thing that Printf cannot do from this position is he can't go from an economy advantage at all. He's completely walled in. He's got no army units. There are 6 lings down here, so he can't like slip a probe down and try and build an nexus. He could ninja expand. That's going to be a little bit dangerous on a map like this. It's not too hard for FLuX to really keep an eye on all these locations with the Overlord spread that he's got going on. He's even got a ling actually just checking around the map to make sure nothing else is being built. And the Stalker is chasing off an Overlord. Nothing particularly important going on there. Robo's going to finish in just a moment. Let's see what he goes for from here. Is this going to be a Warp Prism or a Mortal? Ah, Fast Colossus. Okay. So basically what Printf has chosen here is he's trying to go for a tech advantage to try and overcome the economic advantage that his opponent has. And he's basically kind of banking on the notion that FLuX is going to go real hard into links. If he goes hard into, say, other pieces of tech like Mutalisks, or even a lot of roaches, this Fast Colossus is not anywhere near as good. So let's see what we're going to work with here. Robo Bay, 3 gates, so it's just kind of a really standard looking push actually. And we'll just have to wait and see how it goes from here. Okay, Warp Prism in the meantime to try and buy himself some time to get the Colossus out, as he is taking quite a while to do this. His opponents are already up to basically almost 2 base saturations, picking up an additional gas. So this is a potentially scary situation. More links coming out. Looks like just trying to hang out here, guard the expansion of the creep. +1 is done. 3 gateways finish up here. Warp Gate getting on. He's going to Chrono Boost out this Colossus as fast as possible. Now realize if you went for a 1-base Colossus push, you would have done it far quicker than Printf probably would be able to, because he did go Forge first into getting all this stuff later. So it is kind of a thing that you find himself in right now. Now he can see that +1 has been researched by how fast his lings are dying here. Also clicking on these Zelds. Good way to see all that, but he does not know about the Colossus just yet. Printf is starting to elevate his units down to the low ground, not going to bother killing off any of his buildings, so nicely done on that. And it looks like he's going to try and get up to a critical mass number of Colossus before engaging down here first. He pretty much would need, I think, in the absence of a lot of sentries, probably needs about 3, maybe. He can go out with 2, but it's going to take some pretty serious micro to make that work. Complete absence of force fields makes this quite a bit more difficult to actually pull off. Plus, FLuX is now aware that some kind of attack is coming at him, judging by the fact that he's breaking down the ramp there. He does not have anything in position to tell if there's a expansion attempt going on or not, though. Army moving out across the map. 2 Colossus, lots of Zealots. So this is a primarily anti-Zergling army. No charge in there, so the Roaches will do pretty well against it. Army's kind of splitting up here around the ramp. And here comes the army. You can see the Warp Prism setting up at the edge. And I think that might be just enough. Yeah, he knows about the Colossus for sure now that he's walked onto his vision. Colossus are trying to move back. He's going to use the Warp Prism, try and keep it alive as long as he possibly can. He's doing a decent job of this, but there's way too many roaches. And as you can see here, even with the micro here, the Colossus has fallen. He's lost the rest of his army, and he is being forced into a retreat. So there's an extremely strong hold by FLuX, and that is the end of Game 2.